First off, I just want to give a huge shout out to Audiothing for being a part of this video. And as of the time of this recording, they currently have a huge summer sale on with 35% off across the site, and I do highly recommend checking it out. I'm a big advocate for Audiothing. I've been using their plugins since the very beginning of this project, and I have nothing but good things to say about them. But we will talk more about them later. Until then, on with the video. This whole pixelized rabbit-themed project was brought to life with a single plugin, and that plugin was Minibit. Over the course of the last 2 years, countless numbers of my songs have contained Minibit, and if I were to guess, I'd say close to 85% of them. It is one of the most versatile, adaptive, and joyous plugins I have ever used in all my years of producing music. Without it, genuinely speaking, this channel would not exist. So I thought to myself, how could I honor the incredible work Audiothing has done? Well, of course, it would be by covering Undertale's Fallen Down. Undertale is a game that has captured the hearts of many, and its soundtrack plays a significant role in its widespread appeal. Composed entirely by Toby Fox, the music in Undertale is more than just a backdrop. It's an integral part of storytelling, character development, and emotional experience of the game. The song that stood out the most and evoked such a profound emotional response within me was Fallen Down. There's something about it which I can't quite put my finger on, but it broke through hearing and became feeling. I have wanted to cover this song for a long time, and what better time than now? So what I'm going to do now for you is go through how I created the cover, and here's the most important part. I only used 2 plugins for the main production, Minibit for the instruments and Miniverb for the effects. I should say, I did use some basic EQ and mastering tools to mix the track itself, but in terms of actually writing and making the sounds, it was created only using those 2 previously mentioned. Anyway, enough waffling, let's break this track down. Okay then, so let's just run through this cover real quick. Let's start from the very top, work our way down, and then we'll be able to listen to the whole thing all the way through. At the very beginning, we have a reversed chord that fades into the main melody on piano. Now, I got this done by creating these notes here. I pushed them together to make a chord. Then I froze that, converted it to audio, reversed it, faded it in, and swept it with an auto filter. I know it's a hell of a lot of words to get through, but it created this reverse sweep into the main notes. So I'll play that so you can hear what I'm talking about. So that's how I got that effect, which I just thought was a really nice way of bringing the track in. For the main piano, we used Minibit, of course. I've created a preset called Fallen Piano. And what I did was use the oscillator editor and created my own curve. This was the shape that I created, and this was the sound that I got from it. So if you want to recreate this sound for yourself, you can pause the video here, dial in all the dials, and then go from there. Further on in the track, it does change up a little bit. When this becomes the bridge, when the main track becomes the bridge, and it goes like this. I used a lane of automation, which I will pull up now. It's Minibit, and it is the release. So this automation, the way release works is it's how fast the note fades out when you lift off the note. So if you press down on a key and you let go and it fades out, then the release is quite high. If you press down and let go and then it stops immediately, the release is quite low. So if you know the original track, then you know which part I'm talking about. This is what happens in the original, and I did want to kind of recreate that there, and I managed to do that by using an automation parameter, which I have dialed in here, and it does slowly fade back in as the song progresses. And that's kind of the basics of that. So it goes from this to this, all using the same instrument, all just messing around with some parameters, which I thought was very cool, and it's very fun, very functional, and it saves me having 15,000 different instrument channels just for different sounds for the same instrument. So it's very handy and very cool and very good to use. So that's the main piano part. Then we have a little extra piano, which I will solo and show you now. Quite a wibbly wobbly, but what it does is it just gives a bit more body to the main piano. So I'll play those two together. So it's not crazy loud and it's not huge in the mix and it doesn't take over the main piano part. I just wanted to give it a little bit more body, keep the track interesting as we move through it. So next up we have the lead, which is just a fluty kind of sound. We'll solo that on its own. Here it is. Very pretty melody, and this goes all the way through, so sort of in the bridge section through to basically the outro. It's very nice and it's very fun and very light-hearted. What I also did was layer in the second half of that lead, layer a pluck over tops just to give it a little bit more voomph. I don't know. It's definitely not a word, but I wanted to give it a little bit more body. So this is what it sounds like together. And I just love how that sounds. So the next two channels here, down here, this is, we should listen to all four of these together so you can make sense of it. So that melody line we just heard, we have, it repeats itself in the second half of this, which I will show you now. And if you heard those two little bits come in after these original notes, that's because I kind of wanted to just do what's called a call and response. It's very common in music theory and a lot of great composers do it. It's not actually in the original. I don't think I heard it. But I wanted to do it. I think it just sounds nice and it's pretty and fun. So moving on to the next channel, which is this little part here. This is just an accompaniment. It's not part of the original track, it's just my own little flavor spin, and it goes alongside the piano like this. So that's that, and I will show you that separately on its own. It's not, again, it's not part of the original, but I don't know, I kind of heard the melody in my head and I was like, this would sound nice if I added it on top, and it does. So here we go. If you want to take a look at the mini-bit preset that we used, it is Z-Harp. I did change something here. I'm not entirely sure what it was, but I know I changed something. It was very subtle, whatever it was. Oh, wow. How have I completely forgotten to tell you about this? So the entire track, this is the original I'm talking about now. The entire track is actually a half step between two notes for whatever reason. I mean, Toby Fox, I love you for this. And I have also used this technique before. I did it on When You Long for Lost Time. That was a half step between notes. So that was the same setting on every single plugin. Every single version of Minibit we have, if you see this fine tune, is set to -50C. So that's 50 cents between. So it's like halfway between a note that you would get on a conventional key scale, which is cool, very cool. And it sounds awesome. And it kind of gives you this weird, like, it sounds familiar, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Really cool technique. So every single instrument that we have on here, thankfully Minibit has that built in as part of one of its parameters. So we've set every single dial to -50C. So just to achieve the same. So if you play the original version of the song and this one next to it, it would be in exactly the same key. If you were to play it on piano, you wouldn't be able to achieve the same key because it is set between two notes. Anyway, where were we? So let's talk about these last three in the main driven part of the track. These three are just the pa kind of bass running through. I say pa, but it's actually just two notes. So it's not actually the pa, it's just pa. So there's nothing special about that. That's just there. So this is the exciting part, the strings. I'm not going to go through each one individually. I'm just going to show you the bulk of the strings because actually, no, I will. I'll show you the main important one. So the main important one, of course, is that iconic sliding bass sound. And this is my version of it. So to achieve that, we go here and we are in the pitch bend envelope in the MIDI control window. So you can see here where I've drawn in the pitch bend, and this is how I've achieved those notes to pitch bend. And you'll see it if you follow the line down. Very cool. I didn't apply this to any of the other string layers, and I know this I've called them strings and it sounds like bass, but it's strings. Because if we check out MiniBit here, we can see that this is the cello preset. Now I have changed some of the parameters here. I've reduced the attack by quite a lot to give it a more bass-like quality. But what I'm going to do real quick is just show you the strings all together so you can hear it. And what I did here is, if you see, this is called low string. So what I did, I took the main bass line, dropped it down an octave to give it more low end and more bass. And I also added a third layer of harmony. This isn't in the original, but this is something that I wanted to do to kind of make it a bit more exciting and give it my own spin. Because again, I can't stress this enough. This is not a one-to-one cover. Yes, it is structurally one-to-one. But when it comes to the sort of playing around with the melody and playing around with the harmonies, I kind of put my own variant into it because I wanted to have fun with it. So I'll play it from here and you can hear how all the extra harmonies come in and the low comes in. So that's basically a rundown and an overview of all the different things that I've done instrumentally. And finally, before I show you the full cover, I'm going to show you this thing. This is an audio track of the reverb channel, which isn't actually this reverb channel. Before I created this reverb channel, I made another one. And what I did was record the audio that was coming out of it. So all the instruments that were getting sent to it, it creates an audio like you can hear here. If I just solo the EQ and reverb channel. Very quiet. I apologize. I'm not going to turn it up anymore because that is how I've mixed it. But before I made this particular one, I made this one and I recorded the audio from it. And what this does, I wanted to run this through the entire track. This is just based off the piano channel. So it's just the reverb getting sent to there. And I wanted to kind of just give it a little bit more body throughout the entire track. And it just kind of brings everything together when you hear the reverb, the piano track, and the live reverb channel. So that's the basic rundown of everything. If you want to take a look at the Miniverb setup I've got here, this is sitar verb. It is a preset. I don't think I changed too many of the parameters. I can't remember. I apologize. I have a terrible memory. And I've been working on this for a couple of days. So I may have messed around with some of the dials. I'm not too sure. But this is the channel, the reverb channel, the return channel that everything is getting sent to. Well, whichever instruments I wanted to send to it. So that's the basic rundown. Now, I'm sure you're very eager to hear the full cover, unedited and without me talking over the top of it, which I'm going to show you shortly. But first, I just want to say you're going to want to stick around to the end because if you've liked seeing how all this works and you've enjoyed looking at MiniBit, this plugin right here, and you've also enjoyed looking at Miniverb, I am going to be doing a giveaway in partnership with AudioThing. They have graciously given me keys for giveaways. We are going to be giving a copy of MiniBit and a copy of Miniverb. So what you have to do to enter the competition is you have to like the video, you have to leave a comment, and head over to the Discord server because that is where the draw will be taking place. If you leave a comment, I will enter your name into the draw. And if you want to watch the draw live, which you probably will because I will be contacting the winner in the Discord server when the draw is over to let them know they've won. Congratulations. So it's going to be really important that you do those things. So remember, like the video, leave a comment, and join the Discord server. So good luck in the draw. I hope you win. I hope you get a copy. If you don't, I still recommend checking out Audio Things plugins. They are amazing. The sale is on right now, so now is the time to get yourself involved and pick up a copy of Minibit or Miniverb or any of the other plugins that they have to offer. Now, I know I've spoken a lot in the last couple of minutes, but I promise it's almost over. I am ready to show you the cover in its entirety, and I hope you enjoy. I hope I've done it justice. And I had a lot of fun making this. I adore the Undertale soundtrack, and you've heard my voice enough now. So thanks so much for watching the video, and I am going to send you off with the cover. Enjoy.